the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Sion. Today we're learning Pesachim, Perek Tet, Mishnayos Vav and Zayin. I want to explain Mishnah Vav a little more. Mishnah Vav talks about Rabbi Yeshua says Shamati Shmuras Pesach Kreva, Tmuras Pesach Eina Kreva. Sometimes the Tmura of a Karban Pesach is brought as a Karban Shalom. Sometimes it's not. Rabbi Akiva says he didn't know when it is, when it's not. Rabbi Akiva told him this is the halacha. The halacha is basically you set aside a Karban Pesach, you lose the Karban Pesach, you set aside another animal, the Karban Pesach, you have not yet shechted the Karban Pesach, and then you find the first animal. So the first animal is not the Karban Pesach anymore because you're makdish a replacement for it. So the replacement is the real Karban Pesach. Now, the first animal cannot be wrong as a Karban Pesach because you had a replacement. So what you have to do is you have to let it graze in the field until it gets a mum. Once it gets a mum, it can't be brought as a Karban. It loses Kedushas Aguf. It has Kedushas Dam. So you redeem it and use the money to pay for a Nedava, basically, a Shalmi Nedava. However, and also if you made that a Tmura, that first animal, right, you try to transfer that Kedusha to another animal, that also would have the din, it would not be brought as a Karban. You have to redeem it. However, if the same scenario, you lost the Karban Pesach, you set aside another Karban Pesach, and you shech the Karban Pesach, and then after you shech the Karban Pesach, you found the first animal. So now the Karban Pesach already been brought. So in that case, it's basically a Karban Shlamim. It's basically a Karban Shlamim. Every Karban Pesach is a Karban Shlamim. It just has the added feature of being a Karban Pesach. But now you already mocked the Karban Pesach. So it went back to being a Shlamim now when you found it. So therefore, if you make that into a Tumor, you try to transfer that Kedusha to another animal, that would also be a Karban Shlamim. It's brought as a Karban Shlamim, just like the replacement, the first animal that was lost is also brought as a Karban Shlamim. The Tumura has him Allah as that. Now what's the understanding over here? What does it matter whether you found it before the Karban Pesach or after the Karban Pesach? So the idea is like this, I believe, that if you find the first animal before you brought the Karban Pesach, so the replacement animal, right, you lost the first one, the replacement is really the Karban Pesach, you can't, right, but technically both are Karban Pesach, really are both are Karban Pesach because, right, the replacement, it's like a Kohen Gadol gets a psul, he's carry or he has some mum or something like that, and he's replaced by another Kohen Gadol, right? What happens when the first Kohen Gadol goes back? So he goes back to, it's different, there's halachas, the Maseches Makkos talks about it, but a replacement does not mean that you've removed the Kedushas Pesach from the first animal. It just means practically I have no way of being marked because I marked the second one, it's Karban Pesach, but the first one still has Kedushas Karban Pesach. So now the time for Karban Pesach arrived. So I can only be makar one animal. You don't need two animals. So I do the second one, not the first. But that's technicality. Both are really Kedushas Karban Pesach. So therefore, since Kedushas Karban Pesach, you can't be makar as a shlamim. Because anything which is a Karban Pesach, you can't use as a shlamim. Karban Pesach is different halachas than a shlamim. Pesach you only eat for that night. Shlamim you could eat for 2 days and 1 night. So Pesach is more holy in a certain sense than a shlamim. So even though every Pesach includes a shlamim with it, but if it has the added feature of Karban Pesach, you have to be makar with the Karban Pesach. I mean, you can't be makar with the Karban Pesach, but you have a different animal, so then you have to redeem it. You can't use the animal at all, and the tzmur of the animal will be likewise. However, if you found the animal after you brought the Karban Pesach, so there's no, right, the Karban Pesach was brought already, so this animal that you found has already been relegated to a shlamim. It's been relegated to a shlamim because every Karban Pesach is a Karban shlamim, except if you have the possibility of bringing a Karban Pesach, but the Karban Pesach was brought already by the time you found it. So it's already been relegated, this replacement, the first animal, to a Karban Shlamim that you lost. So now it basically has Karban Shlamim. You can bring it as a Karban Shlamim anymore. Right? You can't bring it if it's possible to bring the Karban Pesach. Once the Karban Pesach is already brought, there's no more mitzvah of Karban Pesach anymore. It's been relegated to a Shlamim. And therefore, if you try to exchange that Kedusha to a different animal, it'll also be a Shlamim. Likewise, every Tmura has the same halachas as the animal you try to use to remove the Kedusha from the animal to this one, so it has the same halachas as be makar as a Karban Shlamim, because every Karban Pesach is essentially a Karban Shlamim. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.